Hej, siemano wam wszystkim ludzie, z tej strony Arturo, witam was na swoim kanale i kontynuujemy Broken Sword Director's Cut. Moi drodzy, powracamy do Georgia. Teoretycznie znajdujemy się w sklepie z pamiątkami i kostiumami. Udało nam się zdobyć brzęczek do rąk. Co prawda nie ma już nowych opcji dialogowych, kiedy rozmawiam z tym mężczyzną.
Oui, monsieur?
A jednak mogę wypytać ponownie o te przedmioty. No dobra, zróbmy to.
What does this tool mean to you?
Nothing, monsieur.
Are you sure this is the same man who hired the clown suit?
Certainement, monsieur K.
Monsieur Khan wypożyczył kostium klauna. No, w jakiś sposób będziemy musieli zlokalizować tego mężczyznę.
Do you want this red nose back?
Not after it's been worn, thank you.
About this tissue.
I have already given you my professional opinion.
Do you want this buzzer back?
No, you keep it.
Paralizator, ja mówię brzęczek do rąk. Lepiej brzmi.
Thanks for your help, buddy.
My pleasure, monsieur.
Teoretycznie poprzedni odcinek miał niecałe 40 minut po zmontowaniu. Ogólnie nagrywałem tamten odcinek prawie 55 minut, ale po zmontowaniu, kiedy wyciąłem niepotrzebne sceny, jak tłumaczyłem wiadomość, no to się okazało, że o 15 minut film został skrócony. No cóż, mam nadzieję, że ten odcinek, który nagrywam teraz, będzie zdecydowanie dłuższy. Dobra, jedyna opcja, którą mogę tutaj wykonać, to jest spojrzeć na ten gramofon. Nie ma tutaj żadnych innych punktów interaktywnych. Byliśmy w Café de la Chandelle. Byliśmy w Rue Géry. I byliśmy też na posterunku policji. Z Nicole nie możemy porozmawiać na żadne tematy. Tu znajdujemy się aktualnie. Dobra, pójdę jeszcze raz na posterunek policji. I... o, widzicie? Wrócił komendant. Czy tam inspektor prowadzący główną sprawę. Może w końcu uda mi się z nim porozmawiać. Przy okazji, no, chciałbym też wykorzystać tutaj na tym mężczyźnie brzęczek.
Excuse me, Sergeant.
What do you want now?
What do you suppose this tool is used for, Sergeant Moo?
It looks like something an obstetrician would use, monsieur.
It was with tools like this that the clown made his escape.
I don't understand.
He opened up the hole and disappeared into the bowels of the earth.
If you say so, monsieur.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur.
It's the guy who bombed the cafe. The clown.
This man looks nothing like a clown.
He's taken off his grease paint and costume.
Then there is nothing to link this man with the killing.
Nothing? Look at those murderous eyes.
Hardly likely to get him convicted.
I found this red nose in the sewer.
What were you doing down there?
Fishing for clues. That's where the clown went.
You still insist you saw a clown, monsieur?
Of course. And this novelty nose proves it.
It will take more than a plastic proboscis to convince Inspector Rousseau.
You don't want this as evidence, then?
Certainly not, monsieur.
A dajcie mi znać, z czym wam się kojarzą kanały i clown. Jeszcze taki czerwony balonik do tego.
Do you recognize this dirty tissue?
No, monsieur, I do not.
I found it in the sewer.
Perhaps it would be better if you put it back there.
No way! This could be an important clue.
If you say so, monsieur.
Would you like to shake my hand, Sergeant?
Not while I'm on duty, monsieur. The gesture could be misconstrued.
Czyli no, nie mogę na nim wykorzystać tego żartu.
Is Rosso here?
Yes, he is. You wish to speak to him?
Tak, chciałbym z nim porozmawiać. Ale poczekajcie, bo tam jeszcze mieliśmy inną opcję dialogową.
Not really. Do you know a man named Khan? He's a shifty-looking guy with a scar on his right cheek.
No, monsieur. Has this man any connection with the bombing of the cafe?
Yes. I believe Khan was the name he used when he hired the clown costume.
No dobra, a czy będzie szansa, żeby jeszcze raz się go zapytać, czy mogę spotkać się z Rosso?
See you later, Sergeant.
Mam przynajmniej taką nadzieję.
Excuse me, Sergeant.
What do you want now?
Is Rosso here?
Yes, he is. You wish to speak to him?
Jak najbardziej.
Yes, I do.
One moment, monsieur. It's Stobbarta, monsieur. He insists on talking to you again.
Did he say what it was about?
Non, monsieur.
Very well.
Hi, Inspector. Remember me?
But of course, Mr. Stobbart. My mind is a well-ordered faculty. A mental classification system that's the envy of the Bibliothèque Nationale. No tricks, mark you, monsieur. Just exercise. Just as our muscles waste through inactivity, so our minds decay. But there is no need. If only people would learn to exercise their wits daily.
If he was trying to impress me, it worked. He was pompous and patronizing, but he had style.
Eh bien, if you called about the bombing, you're too late. Investigations have been closed.
But
I've been taken off the case.
what about the murderer, the dead guy?
It is out of my hands.
To kto w takim razie prowadzi teraz tą sprawę?
Did you find out the ID of the guy who was killed in the explosion?
I already knew who he was.
I heard that the bomb victim's name was Plantau.
Your sources are reliable.
He was a big shot at the Treasury, wasn't he? Maybe that's why you've been taken off the case.
I'm sorry, monsieur. I cannot comment.
Don't you want to know what I found out about the killer?
I told you, monsieur, the case is closed. I have washed my hands of the whole affair.
Then I'll have to continue my investigations without your help.
No, you must forget the business of the clown completely. Go back to being an ordinary tourist, Stobbart.
So long, Inspector.
Policjantowi została odebrana sprawa. Nie chcę powiedzieć, kto się tym zajmuje. I nam radzi, żebyśmy my się też nie wtrącali.
See you later, Sergeant.
Śmierdzi mi to.
It was just some police paperwork, a search warrant.
Pójdę, zadzwonię do Niko.
Hello? Who is this?
Mr. Todrick?
Oh, it's you again. What now?
The man I'm looking for is called Khan. He bought a suit from you, remember?
Mr. Khan. Yes, I remember him. Yes, I delivered the suit to his hotel. The Hotel Ubu. I don't remember the room number. It was upstairs. The second room on the right-hand side of the corridor.
Thanks, Todrick. That's all I wanted to know. Now I've got you, Mr. Clown.
No i proszę bardzo, udało nam się zdobyć nową lokalizację. Hotel Ubu, który znajduje się tutaj po prawej stronie na dole. Aha, widzę już dwóch gagatków, którzy pewnie niechętnie będą chcieli mnie wpuścić do środka. A dlaczego tutaj nie ma flagi Polski?
Excuse me.
Yeah?
Dobra, kojarzę to miejsce. Tam będzie chyba taka kobieta grała na pianinie, z tego co mi się wydaje.
Maybe not. Do you recognize the guy in this photograph?
Is this a trick question?
No. I simply asked if you recognized him.
Okay then. No, I don't.
Have you ever seen this clown's nose before?
Nope.
Do you recognize this tissue? Think carefully now.
Ooh, ooh, ooh,
I'm gonna have to hurry you.
ooh.
Time's up, so I'll tell you. It's a used tissue with a liberal dump of Bestheimer's number 12.
If you say so.
Ale zobaczcie, jak ten gościu wygląda tutaj. Wygląda jak taki niski karakan, trochę jak Kaczyński. A jak wygląda tutaj na tym obrazku, nie? Wygląda na dużo bardziej zbudowanego. Ale te brwi ma takie wielkie.
Shake my hand. Nah. Oh, rats. Have you seen a guy dressed as a clown?
No, I ain't. Don't tell me I missed him. Oh, that's too bad. I love the clowns, don't you?
I've seen daytime television that was funnier.
I love it when the little guys get hyped.
That figures.
Custard pies, hose pipe down the pants, then smack! A plank in the kisser.
You ever meet a guy called Plantau?
No, I ain't.
You missed your chance. If you're quick, you'll catch him at the coroner's. Do you happen to know a guy named Khan?
That ain't nobody I know.
Okej.
See you later.
Not if you see me first.
Teraz moje pytanie brzmi, czy oni znają Kana i może w jakiś sposób z nim współpracują, czy po prostu jest to ochrona tego hotelu? Chyba że tutaj przybywa jakiś inny boss mafii albo coś takiego i po prostu pilnują, żeby nikt nie mógł się z nim spotkać.
Excuse me.
Yes?
What does this tool suggest to you?
Hard labor.
Do you recognize the guy in this photograph?
No, I never saw it.
Have you ever seen this clown's nose before?
No.
What does this tissue mean to you?
Are you serious?
Oh, yes. Take a good look at the substance it's smeared with.
You are sick. Very sick.
Will you shake my hand?
Are you joking? Who knows where it has been?
Ale jaki ma akcent, nie? Jak charakterystycznie wymawia to R. Taki troszeczkę wschodni akcent. Jak Rosja, Ukraina, Białoruś.
I'm looking for a clown.
Are you trying to be funny?
No, I really am looking for a clown.
There are no clowns here except you.
Have you heard of a guy called Plantar?
No, that name means nothing to me.
Do you know a man by the name of Khan?
No, I don't.
It's very important I get to see him, and
I told you, I don't know it.
No dobra, nie znasz to nie. A czy ja mogę wejść do środka? Mogę. Chociaż tyle. No tak, wiedziałem, że będę kojarzył jakąś babeczkę, która gra na pianinie. To jest jakaś królowa czy coś takiego?
hi there, ma'am.
Well, hello. What can I do for you?
I'm looking for a man.
You disappoint me, my dear. For one foolish moment I thought... But never mind. Aren't you going to tell me your name?
George Stobbarta, ma'am.
How sweet! I once had a stable boy called George. I am Lady Piermont. The common reaction is to kneel and stutter, but it's not obligatory.
A real lady? I mean, you're an honest-to-God aristocrat?
Oh, I don't know about that. Few of my ancestors are honest, not even to God. I can trace my family back to the Normans, but don't let that intimidate you, George. Beneath that impressive pedigree, I'm just flesh and blood. The blood may be blue, but the flesh is the plump beef of old England, so to speak. You appear distracted, George. Is there any way I can help you?
Tak, chciałbym, żeby pani uścisnęła moją dłoń. Ale po kolei.
Can you think of any use for this tool, ma'am?
I can think of someone I'd like to use it on.
Okej. Ale zobaczcie, nie? Kobieta wyższych lotów, wykształcona, jakaś tam królowa i tak dalej, a my sobie do niej podchodzimy i gadamy, bez w ogóle ukłonienia się. Jeszcze będziemy chcieli jej zrobić brzęczek z ręki.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
My God, it's him! That's Merlin!
She represented everything I loved about the English. The lady was totally deranged. Merlin? You mean King Arthur's wizard?
Good heavens, no! Monsieur Merlin is a fellow guest.
Okej, czyli już wiemy, że zameldował się tutaj pod fałszywym nazwiskiem.
Do you know what this is?
At a guess, I'd say it was a clown's nose.
That's right. It was worn as a disguise by a vicious killer.
Ah, Mr. Merlin, perchance.
That's him. Does this tissue mean anything to you?
I'm no shrinking violet, but that object makes me feel quite queasy.
I just couldn't bring myself to use the buzzer on this dear lady.
No tak, gdybyśmy to zrobili, to pewnie by się na nas obraziła i nie chciała z nami współpracować. A na pewno z jej pomocy jeszcze nieraz skorzystamy.
Did you know there's a gangster out front?
What makes you think he's a gangster?
The Italian suit and the bulge in his pocket?
I know plenty of men with Italian suits and bulges in their pockets. That doesn't necessarily make them gangsters.
The man you know as Merlin is a fake.
What do you mean, sweetie?
He's a murderer. He also uses the name Khan.
I am shocked, Mr. Stobart. Shaken. I took him to be a gentleman, a man of honor. Do you know, I'd rather like to assist you in stitching him up.
When did you last see Merlin?
It was no more than an hour ago. He came downstairs and spoke to that clerk chappie. Something passed hands. I couldn't see what exactly.
A briefcase?
No, smaller than that. A bundle of papers, perhaps. The clerk put it in the hotel safe and Merlin went out.
Czyli będziemy musieli dostać się do hotelowego sejfu i prawdopodobnie ta babeczka mi w tym pomoże.
Are you sure you saw Merlin putting documents in the safe?
Yes, darling, positive.
I wonder what they were.
Obviously something of great importance.
Yeah. I'd sure like to get my hands on whatever it is. I'll bet they had something to do with Plantow's briefcase.
Tylko najpierw będziemy musieli zdobyć szyfr do sejfu.
Has Merlin returned to the hotel?
No, he hasn't. Are you going to search his room?
If I could get in there, I would. Are you here in Paris on vacation?
No, darling, I'm on holiday. I needed to get away after Algy's funeral.
I didn't realize you were mourning the loss of a loved one.
I'm not, he was my husband.
Okej.
I'm sorry to hear about your husband's death.
You wouldn't be if you knew him, my dear. It gave me the opportunity to take a well-deserved holiday. Daphne suggested a change of scenery. Paris, she said. A wild romance is just what you need to take your mind off the inquest. Well, the closest I came to romance was being wooed by a drunken Breton chef. I must say I was disappointed with his coq au vin. Not at all what I was expecting. I was thinking of cutting my holiday short, packing my bags and heading back to Hempstead. That was until last night.
What happened to you last night?
I was stricken, Mr. Stobbarta. Cupid's arrow has cleft my bosom.
They couldn't really miss.
It was just as I'd always imagined it should be. The intimacy of candlelight, romantic music tinkling across the room, and then a stranger's glance. Those brooding eyes, that suave manner, those tight trousers. He was the man I'd been waiting for all my life.
I'm glad he finally turned up after all these years.
Ah, but it wasn't to be. He was merely toying with my affections. And if I ever catch up with him, he's dead.
Czyli jak mniemam, chodzi o pana Kana albo Merlina.
Who was the guy who led you on?
His name is Merlin.
No właśnie. Dobra, panie portierze. To jest chyba on, nie?
Excuse me, didn't I see your picture in the news? You're that Nobel Prize winner from some unpronounceable Eastern European state.
Yes, that is me, in person.
I don't want to worry you, but have you had any threats on your life? You know, mysterious phone calls, letters made up of headlines cut from the newspaper.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No dobra. Widzę, że same sławy tutaj w tym hotelu.
Have you any idea what this tool might be used for?
I cannot guess.
Would it mean anything if I told you it was for lifting drain covers?
Such technology fills me with wonder.
Do you recognize this man? He calls himself Khan.
Yes, I know this man. Why do you carry his photograph?
I'm a private detective. What does this clown's nose suggest to you?
In my country, we have no use for clowns.
I'm glad to hear it.
They were dealt with most severely in the last cultural cleansing.
What about the mimes? Did you get them too?
All gone. Our streets are mime-free.
Sounds like heaven. Does this goo-smeared tissue mean anything to you?
No, it doesn't.
May I shake you by the hand?
I do not shake the hands of imperialist dogs.
Now that's a real bad attitude problem you've got there.
Ale nas chamsko obraźliwie nazwał. Już go nie lubię.
Do you know a guy called Plantow's?
I don't know anybody in Paris.
Oh, well, this guy's dead anyhow.
Why do you ask me about dead men? I have seen enough of death to last me a lifetime.
I'm, sure you have. Have you seen a clown?
I beg your pardon?
The clown. A guy in funny pants. Have you seen him?
My pants are from England. Marks and Spencer. They are a pleasure and a comfort to wear, with much support.
I'm real glad to hear that. You know, it's good to know you Nobel Prize winners are human too.
In my country, the people make do with string and egg cartoons.
For pants?
For everything. Oppression is the mother of ingenuity.
A teraz taka ciekawostka. W zakładzie, w którym pracuję, produkujemy artykuły spożywcze dla Marks & Spencera. Ogólnie wszystkie przetwory żywnościowe, które produkowane są w moim zakładzie, wysyłane są do Wielkiej Brytanii. Sainsbury, Marks & Spencers, Baxters, Garners, Aldi, coś tam do Lidla kiedyś robiliśmy. Takie wiecie, pierdoły.
What's your interest in Khan?
He is an enemy of my people.
You know he's a killer.
Of course, amongst other things.
Would you help me investigate Khan?
That is not possible. My instructions are to observe. I cannot jeopardize my position as an honored guest of this country's government.
Thanks for your help.
Goodbye.
Taki troszeczkę arogancki ten facet. Jeszcze nas tak brzydko nazwał, psem.
There was no one registered under the name of Khan, but the name in the book for room 22 was Merlin.
No właśnie.
I want some information.
Who are you? The police?
I'm conducting a private investigation.
Ah, I know only too well what you mean. That is one of the drawbacks of the catering business. When people book into an hotel, they leave their morals at home, no?
What do you make of this tool?
Stunning, monsieur. I bet you handle it like a professional.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
Yes, monsieur. That man is one of our guests.
What name?
I cannot tell you that.
It's Merlin, isn't it? Alias Khan, the clown.
I told you, I cannot tell you that.
Czyli obowiązuje w tym hotelu RODO. No i bardzo dobrze.
Do you recognize this red nose?
No, monsieur.
What do you make of this tissue?
Do you wish me to dispose of it for you, monsieur?
Hey, no! It could be useful. I'm holding on to this.
As you wish, monsieur. Perhaps you would like a little plastic baggie to keep it in?
Nah, it's fine the way it is. Hey, shake my hand.
I'd rather not, monsieur. I'm still sore from the shock administered by one of the guests. He was secretly concealing an electrical device in the palm of his hand. Practical jokes are so puerile, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Jestem ciekaw, czy takie paralizatory ręczne można gdzieś kupić. Też bym się pobawił i ludziom w pracy takie dowcipy robił.
I'm looking for a man who dresses like a clown.
This is a highly respectable hotel, monsieur. There are no clowns here.
If you say so. Do you know a man named Plantau?
No, monsieur.
I'd like to retrieve something from your safe.
Ah, oui, monsieur. May I see some form of identification?
Like what?
A driving license, perhaps?
I don't drive.
Your passport?
I don't have it with me. I could show you my operation scar.
I'm sorry, monsieur. I must have some form of unique ID.
You won't find a more unique ID than my scar.
I'm sorry. I must insist on a more traditional identification.
Rats.
Niestety takowego nie posiadamy.
Do you have a guest by the name of Khan?
No, monsieur. Perhaps you would care to check the register.
I already did.
Alors, you know I am telling the truth. May Saint Armand strike me down if I lie.
The man who calls himself Khan has a scar on his right cheek.
Vraiment? I tell you, I do not know a man named Khan.
Maybe not, but I'd noticed a change in his expression when I mentioned the scar.
Okej, obstawiam, że klucz tak po prostu sobie stąd nie wezmę.
Excusez-moi, monsieur.
What?
You are trying to steal that key, no?
No way.
Absolutnie nie. Mogę wejść na górę za to, tak? Który pokój mnie interesuje? Obstawiam, że ten.
The sign on the door read 21. The door was locked. If the tailor's description was correct, this was the killer's room. The sign on the door read 22. The sign on the door read 22. The door was locked.
Drzwi były zamknięte. Co ja w ogóle mam w ekwipunku? Mam? No nie, no. Żadnego z tych elementów na drzwiach użyć nie mogę. Aczkolwiek no spróbuję to. Jednak nie da się tym podważyć drzwi. Dobra, wydaje mi się, że musimy albo się zameldować w pokoju numer 21 i wyjść przez okno i dostać się do pokoju numer 22. Albo, porozmawiać z panią królową, czy kim ona tam jest. Ladies.
What now, monsieur?
About the key hanging on the hook over there.
Oui, monsieur?
Which room is it for?
Number 21.
Is that room taken?
No. The guests checked out this morning.
I'd like to check into room 21.
That is not possible.
How come? You said it was vacant.
It is reserved for another guest.
Rats.
No, monsieur. Dutch.
Przedstawmy się jak Holender, powiedzmy, że przyjechaliśmy prędzej i tyle, no.
I believe Khan, the man with the scar, is also known as Merlin, the man who has taken room 22.
What of it? What do you want?
Access to his room.
Do you have a license, monsieur?
Huh?
A private investigator's license?
Well, not exactly, but I can explain everything.
I am sorry, but without credentials, I cannot help.
I insist you give me the key to Merlin's room.
I cannot do that, monsieur.
This guy Merlin is a menace.
So you say, monsieur.
He's not only a danger to society, but to your guests as well. He has toyed with the affections of Lady Piermont.
Ciel! Are there no depths to which he will not sink?
Precisely. He's already killed once, twice, maybe as many as 3 times. With your help, I just might be able to stop him.
But what if he finds out I have helped you? No, I cannot do it.
Nie chce mi pomóc, tak? Z telefonu skorzystać się nie da.
Hello again. This is a photo of Khan, right?
That is just one of the names by which he is known.
A jakie imiona jeszcze używa, oprócz Khan i Merlin?
Thanks for your help.
Goodbye.
Nie zapominajmy, że kupił też ubranie z krzata, czy tam wypożyczył.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, George. What can I do for you now?
Did I show you this photograph?
Yes, darling.
Would you distract the clerk while I borrow a key?
Are you asking me to aid you in a criminal act, darling?
Oh, no. It's the key to an empty room.
And why, may I ask, do you wish to gain access to an empty room? Do you plan to squat?
No, ma'am.
Scouts honor?
I was never in the Boy Scouts, ma'am.
Oh, you should have been. What were your parents thinking of? It's a fine way for a boy to get licked into shape. Now tell me, why do you want to get into that room?
It's next to the room the killer is using.
Ah, so you plan to eavesdrop on Merlin?
I was hoping there might be a connecting door.
Well, how can I refuse? I shouldn't think my feminine charms would be much use in this case, but a good dose of English arrogance might do the trick.
Czyli wiedziałem, że na staruszkę można liczyć.
I say! You there? Flunky!
Oui, madame.
Listen carefully. You do understand English, don't you?
But of course, madame.
Good. I wish to deposit some jewellery for safekeeping.
I understand.
Are you quite certain?
Oh, bien sûr, madame.
To jest nasza szansa, ale jak chodzi jak taki...
Over to you, my dear.
jak taki chłoptaś o odmiennej orientacji seksualnej. No dobra. Mamy klucz do pokoju numer 21.
Maybe it wasn't the right room, but this was the right key.
Wejdźmy zatem do środka i miejmy nadzieję, że Holender nie przyjedzie zbyt wcześnie. Mogę zajrzeć do szafki nocnej.
The cabinet was empty, but it smelt of onions. No kidding, it really did.
Czyli wychodzi na to, że pomieszkiwali tutaj wcześniej Polacy. No i znajdujemy się w pokoju pana Merlina, czy tam Kana.
The assassin had been too smart to leave incriminating evidence beside his bed. The bed was freshly made, and the crisp white sheets told me nothing about the killer's habits. It was the battered leather briefcase I'd seen Plantar carrying just before he died. I searched the interior of the briefcase, but as I'd half expected, it was empty.
Teczka była pusta, nic w niej nie ma. Mogę zajrzeć do szafy i w sumie tylko tyle.
The closet was a solid, impressive piece of antique furniture.
Są niby 2 punkty, tak? Jeden po prawej, jeden po lewej, ale... George cały czas zamyka tą szafę.
It was Khan. I had the kind of feeling in my stomach that would usually send me running to the bathroom. As Khan opened the wardrobe, I was sure I was dead. But he grabbed his pants quickly and didn't even see me. I didn't usually spy on men getting changed. But this guy was a killer, and I didn't want any surprises. He left his checkered pants on the bed.
Zatem zobaczmy, czy w tych spodniach czegoś nie ma.
I flipped the pants over. I had that kind of feeling you only get from searching still warm pants. I found an ordinary matchbook. No matches, no clues. But as I pulled it from the pocket, a strong thread came with it. A thread with a metal tag on the end.
O,
I pulled on the metal tag and the thread came out of the pants. It was like pulling out a ripcord. The pocket was empty. I found nothing in the pocket.
w tych kieszeniach już nic nie ma.
I turned the pants over again. There was nothing in the pocket. The pocket was empty.
Kieszeń była pusta, tak?
The matchbook bore a pattern of swirling color and the words Club Alamat.
Czyli obstawiam, że tam będziemy musieli się udać. Klub Alamat.
What now, monsieur?
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
No, monsieur.
Do you recognize this key?
That is the property of the Hotel Ubu.
Correct.
May I ask how it found its way from the little hook to your pocket?
Would you believe it was put there by a poltergeist?
No, monsieur. The hotel is regularly serviced by an exorcist. If we had a ghost, Father Fécond would have flushed it out.
I suppose you want the key back.
Not spécialement. The room is vacant. Since you are so determined to conduct your little investigation, I won't stop you.
A wcześniej był innego zdania. Pokój jest zarezerwowany dla Holendra, nie ma w ogóle takiej możliwości, żebyśmy tam zaglądali. Tak szybko zmienił zdanie. Ale z jednej strony dobrze, bo może będziemy musieli się tam wrócić jeszcze.
Hello again. Do you recognize this key?
No, I do not.
Does the name on this matchbook mean anything to you?
Indeed it does, for Alamut was the home of the old man of the mountains. You do not know him?
No, I don't. This is a...
That is just one.
Thanks for your help.
Goodbye.
Jeszcze ze staruszką pogadamy.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, George. What?
Did I show you this?
Yes,
This is the key to room 21.
that's next to the room taken by that rotten Merlin, isn't it?
Yes, and it's vacant.
Really? How convenient.
Maybe it was my imagination, but I had an uncomfortable feeling about this situation. Yeah. I found this matchbook in Merlin's bedroom.
It came from the Club Alamut. It might be useful to find out if that club is in Paris, George.
No chętnie do tego klubu bym się udał.
Just a minute, monsieur.
What's your problem?
No problem, if you cooperate.
What do you want?
Just a routine security check. Nothing to worry yourself about.
Oh, well, all right.
Search him, Flap.
You bet.
Hey, knock it off. Get off, you big ape.
Nothing, Guido. Zilch.
Our apologies, monsieur.
What? I had to report you to the authorities.
Round here, we are the authorities.
You want I should break his arms?
No. Let him go, Flap.
Oprychy mnie przeszukali. Freebie Flap, dobra. Nie będziemy z nimi rozmawiać. Zapewne będziemy mieli z nimi okazję, nie żeby współpracować, bo raczej z nimi bym nie chciał współpracować, ale na pewno do czynienia, jakieś takie bliższe relacje na pewno.
Get lost, creep.
Oh, yeah? And what if I don't? What if I call the cops?
First, I break your arms at the elf. Then, when you recover consciousness, I break...
There's just one flaw in your plans, Ape-Man.
What's that?
It's broad daylight. I don't think even you would assault me on a busy street. Of course, this tranquil square at the end of a cul-de-sac. This isolated corner of Paris that hasn't seen a street sweeper's brush since VE Day. This would be just about perfect for a mugging. Pardon me, I'm about to get very lost.
Nie mogę z nim porozmawiać. Nawet bym nie chciał. Dobra, jak tu się otwiera mapę? Chciałbym opuścić to miejsce. Tutaj mamy jakiś przystanek. Widzę, że na prawo pójść nie mogę. Tu też nie mogę pójść. Mogę porozmawiać z Flipem albo z Flapem. Czytam, jak on się nazywa. A tu mogą się udać jedynie na tyły. Tego puścić tą lokację. Proszę mi powiedzieć. Chyba, że coś jeszcze w środku muszę zrobić i dopiero wtedy będę mógł... No, chciałbym też zajrzeć do tego depozytu, tak? Chyba, że coś jeszcze w jego pokoju muszę zrobić. W sumie to nie wiem, czemu przechodzę z powrotem przez okno, ale dobra. Coś kojarzę, że na zewnątrz będziemy wyrzucali. Tutaj gdzieś pod te kubły. On przyszedł do domu, więc...
The closet was a solid, impressive piece.
Mogę otworzyć szafę, mogę zamknąć szafę. Może coś faktycznie jeszcze przy tych spodniach musimy zrobić.
The pocket was empty. There was nothing in the pocket.
O?
I searched the pocket gingerly and found a pass card. It read Thomas Merlin, Gruber Electronics Corporation.
No i proszę bardzo, coś jeszcze znaleźliśmy.
I turned the pants over again. I tried not to think that the assassin... A thread was hanging loose near the pocket.
Ale luźną nitkę już zerwaliśmy.
It was the card I'd found in the hotel bedroom. It read Tom...
Dobra, wiecie co? Wydaje mi się, że za pomocą tego identyfikatora uda mi się wyjąć to, co jest w sejfie.
What now, monsieur?
I've just been manhandled by a...
Yes? I do not see any signs of a gorilla.
No, not a real gorilla. It was a guy who looked like a gorilla. It happened right out front of this building.
Let me get this quite clear. Are you complaining or bragging?
I want to know what you're going to do about it. The scrawny one has a gun.
I suggest you contact the police.
Can't you do anything about them?
What goes on in the streets of Paris is hardly my responsibility.
Does this pass mean anything to you?
That is Monsieur Merlin's property.
That's right. Merlin the murderer. I want to see what he's left in your safe.
Impossible. I cannot betray his confidence, no matter what you say he's done.
You're making a big mistake.
Maybe. I can live with that. A murderer? Are you sure?
Positive.
Chyba będziemy po raz kolejny musieli poprosić o pomoc Lady.
Aren't you concerned that your guests are being intimidated by gangsters?
No one else has complained, monsieur. Did they steal anything from you?
Well, no. They didn't find what they were looking for.
What was that?
I don't know. I don't think they did either. Hi, ma'am.
Hello, George.
I found this pass in Merlin's room.
So, that deceitful little man is passing himself off as an electrician, is he?
Uh-huh. This guy probably has a million faces. That gangster I told you about? He went through my pockets just now.
Good heavens! One never knows what to expect in foreign parts. Thank you for the warning, young man. I shall hide my credit cards in my underwear.
I showed the pass to the clerk, hoping he'd give me Merlin's papers, but he wouldn't buy it. He's too scared.
I'll give him something to be scared of. Follow me, George!
Ale jak śpiewająca odpowiedziała, za mną George.
Did you place a package from Merlin in the hotel safe?
I did, madame.
And did my friend here show you Merlin's identification?
Indeed he did, but
What's the problem?
he isn't Merlin.
A mere academic detail. Give him the package.
But that is against the law.
I happen to be a justice of the peace, you silly man. I am the law. If he tries anything, shoot him, George.
My pleasure, Lady Piermont.
One moment, please.
You know, I haven't enjoyed myself this much since Greenham Common.
I don't know what I would have done without you, Lady Piermont.
Voilà, monsieur. Le manuscrit de Monsieur Merlin.
Thanks.
How satisfying. An Anglo-American alliance that actually worked.
The clerk had given me a tightly rolled sheet of parchment. I decided not to unroll it until I was safely back in Nico's apartment.
No dobra, Czyli mamy jakiś artefakt, tak? I z tego co pamiętam, to musimy ten artefakt wyrzucić przez okno, ponieważ kiedy wyjdziemy na zewnątrz, no to będziemy przeszukiwani ponownie przez goryli. A nie chcemy, żeby nam go odebrali.
I knew this was no way to treat an ancient manuscript, but I couldn't let it fall into the hands of the goons waiting outside.
Tylko żeby nikt teraz tam nie poszedł i tego nie wziął. Ważny manuskrypt. Oj. Kan się nieźle zdenerwuje, jak zobaczy, że nie ma już tego w swoim sejfie. Ale w sumie to nie nasz problem.
Hold it right, search him again.
Nothing, Guido.
Okay.
I mamy manuskrypt.
If the manuscript was what Flap and Guido were after, they were going to be disappointed. I couldn't wait to get back to Nico's apartment and check it out. Hi, how are you?
Oh, hi. Come in, George.
This is the tool I used to get into the sewers.
Fascinating.
How come you enlarged this?
Because...
I found this matchbook in the killer's hotel room. It's from the Club Alamut.
Never heard of it. Is there anything written inside it?
No, what were you expecting?
If this was a movie, there'd be a clue, a name or an address. That's no use. There aren't even any matches in it.
Oh well, I'll keep it as a souvenir. I found this in the killer's room.
What is it, a credit card?
ID, Thomas Merlin, of the Gruber Electronics Corporation.
Never heard of him or the company.
You're just not going to believe what I found.
It's not another part of the clown's costume, is it?
It's a medieval manuscript. Khan left it in the safe at the U-boot.
It's incredible. Is this what he took from Plantar?
It could be, which means it's worth enough to kill for.
Look there, two guys on the same horse.
Oh yeah, maybe they couldn't afford one each. What of it?
Have you ever heard of the Knights Templar? Their official seal was an image of two knights sharing a horse. Whatever this manuscript means, it's connected with the Templars.
How come you know about these knights?
I learned about them while writing an article on the Crusades. This guy, named Hughes de Payen, arrived one day at the court of King of Jerusalem. He offered to protect the Christian pilgrims from the displaced Muslim armies. The king would be able to guarantee safe transit to Christians in the Holy Land. Safer journeys meant more pilgrims, and pilgrims meant trade and wealth. The Templars proved invaluable to the king as a mercenary army. It was said that they never asked how many the enemy numbered, just where they were. And as the years went by, the Templars grew in wealth and numbers. They were so rich, even kings came to them for loans. But at the height of their power, they fell foul of the King of France. He rounded them up and turned them over to the Inquisition. Thousands of Templars were subject to torture and confessed to heresy. Of course, at the hands of the Inquisition, there wasn't much they wouldn't confess to. The last Grand Master Jacques de Molay was burned alive. But...
Jeez, so the treasure is hidden, waiting to be discovered?
if there ever was a treasure, it's been lost for 600 years. Anyway, we're supposed to be investigating a serial killer, not a medieval treasure trove.
But maybe that's what the clown and his accomplices are after. Maybe this manuscript is the key.
You'd better leave it here for safekeeping.
Hey, Nico, shake hands with me.
No chance, Buster.
Haha, nie dała się nabrać.
What are you doing to help trace the killer clown?
Research, George.
Yeah? You have a copy of the clown's yearbook?
I have a telephone and lots of contacts.
Oh, well, did you find anything useful?
Not yet. I'm employing my first and most useful weapon.
What's that?
Patience.
Oh, I've heard of that. Isn't it a substitute for decisive thinking? Do you have a boyfriend?
Not anymore. There was someone. A guy in my final year, but it didn't work out. Neither did my degree.
I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Tell me more about your family.
When I was a little girl, I used to spend the winter with my grandfather and grandma. They were the best times, warm and safe in their tiny cottage. My grandfather rolled cigarettes while Grandma made hot chocolate and cakes. One day, he stopped his scrolling. He put the lid back on his tobacco jar and took me in his arms. I laughed and wriggled, but he hushed me to be silent. With his unshaven chin all scratchy in my ear, he told me his secret.
What did he say?
He said, "I don't smoke, but she likes to think I do."
What a weird old man.
Don't call my grandfather weird. He was the nicest guy ever. I wish I was back in that cottage instead of this crummy apartment in this noisy city.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
No dobra, przyglądaliśmy się manuskryptowi, możemy przeanalizować dokładnie te wszystkie obrazki, ale moi drodzy, albo dobra.
There's a guy with a sword and a bull.
The only mythological bull I know of is the Minotaur, but he was only half bull.
I don't think I'd like to be half a bull, even if it was the bottom half.
What's that object between them?
It looks like a gem on top of a tripod. There's a guy working on a loom. He's weaving a carpet or a tapestry.
Or a duvet cover? It's a clue to a place, I reckon. Somewhere famed for weaving and ships.
Where folk live in barrels?
It beats copper boxes.
There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces.
She reminds me of the wicked queen in Snow White.
She was the one who said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall," wasn't she? She made me cry so much when I was a kid. Mom carried me out of the movie theater.
She didn't frighten me in the least.
Like I said, I was only a kid. I didn't like the crocodile and a knight with a crystal ball. Now, there's something written on the scroll beside the knight.
Yes, but it's written in Latin. Per disciplinam mea lux.
By my teachings, you...
You speak Latin? Where did you learn a trick like that?
A trick? I studied law, okay?
My, you're touchy. Look there, 2 guys on the same horse. Let's face it, we need help, George. Someone who knows about these things.
Who do you suggest? Indiana Jones?
I know a guy who specializes in medieval studies. His name is Lobino.
Huh. Some stuffy old fossil who gets horny over ancient relics.
Far from it. Andre isn't the stereotypical professor you have in mind.
Where can I find this Lobino guy?
At the Kroon Museum. I'll give you the address.
I have to go.
Okay.
Czyli mamy nową lokację na naszej mapie i musimy spotkać się z André, tak? Czyli kolegą Nicole. Ale moi drodzy, zrobimy to w kolejnym odcinku. Mam nadzieję, że ten wam się podobał. Dzięki wielkie za uwagę. Trzymajcie się. Hej!